Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm the GQ Jedi. If you're not already subscribed to me, blast the subscribe button down below so you don't miss any valuable Star Wars content. Normally I'm talking about vintage Star Wars toys. Well, today we're going to stay in the vintage lane, but we're going to veer left. We're going to talk about some of the other things that the vintage era provided us kiddies back in the day, and those are the books. That's right. There were several books written for the vintage era, taking the adventures of Han, Luke, and Leia out into the galaxy. And as children, we got to read about these adventures. And today I managed to get my hands on a couple of these books, and I thought it would be fun to share that unboxing with you guys. It's vintage. It's vintage. Sorry, it's not a toy, but it's vintage. Let's check them out. All right, you guys. Got some vintage goodness here. This is not, as I stated earlier, this is not a toy unboxing, so I apologize in advance again, but this is vintage nonetheless, and this is a vintage-driven channel. So I thought you guys may like to take a look at some goodies from back in the day. I don't dive too deep into the vintage pool if they're not toys. I'm like you guys. I kind of like to keep my meat with my potatoes, so to speak. But this was kind of a set thing. Kind of saw these. The price was good, and I had to do it. As I tell you guys all the time, don't sleep on Kenner. And just don't sleep on vintage in general if you're going to go after something. And so this was something kind of cool that I had to do. Like I said, I don't go all out for vintage. There's some vintage stuff I don't have, but I don't know, these books I used to read when I was younger. I used to read all the 90s Legends novels back in school and in my free time, so I kind of have this nostalgia for reading Star Wars books. And so, well, doesn't get any better than vintage Star Wars books. So here we have Han Solo at Star's End. This was all by one seller, all three of these books. And I'm gonna be honest, the main draw for me was I needed this Return of the Jedi book. I have this one already, but this one is in better condition than the one I have, so it's a little swappy out. And I mean, look at this thing. It's pretty cherry pie. Pretty cherry pie. And I don't know. It's the original novelization of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi from back in the day. Let's see here. 1983 copyright, Return of the Jedi. Little dog-eared situation there. Oh, we got some colored photos, guys. Who can resist some colored photos? I know I can't. And yes, there is a dog barking in the background. I do apologize. My neighbor's dog is extremely annoying, and there's nothing I can do about that. So I apologize to you guys if you do hear it. I know I certainly do, and I want to throw this book at her. I do love dogs, but my neighbor's dog's annoying. Always wants to bark when I want to film videos for you guys. So I'm so sorry. It's just Murphy's Law, as my father would say. Anyway, back to this. Yeah, old school screenshots. We got 3PO on the sail barge. You got Jabba. Got my man Billy D struggling with one of the guards. Man, I just love the old school stuff, man. Anything that throws me back to the original trilogy from back in the day. And Return of the Jedi was always my favorite movie as a child, just because of all the cool aliens and whatnots. Sucker for the aliens, you know. But as I got older, I appreciated Empire more, as I think a lot of us do. And yeah, I'm just you know, but even though I love Empire more now, I still love Jedi. A lot of people have kind of written it off like the stepchild of the trilogy. It is the unofficial, you know, George gave up kind of thing. It's a sequel. He was just selling toys at that point. Newsflash, George was selling toys from the very beginning. Y'all just didn't know it. But anyway, Jedi, I needed this book. And this one's actually really nice. So I like to have the whole trilogy, the whole set, as it were. This book is actually better than the one I have currently. And so, like I said, I got this for a stupidly low price, the whole set. And I was like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's get this. This didn't even cost me $20. So, and that's you know, total shipped, the whole shebang. So I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. And this is going to be fun, guys. This is going to be fun to go back and read these. I'm pretty sure I read these the library had these back in the day, and I'm pretty sure I read all of them at some point. But this book, I've never read this one. Han Solo at Star's End. This was kind of a draw. It was a new book for me to check out, so to speak. First paperback publication. I'm guessing this is a 70s. This one's seen some. This thing's seen some action, that's for sure. Yeah, 1979 copyright. It's got that old. Yeah, that's right. I'm smelling it. It's got that old book smell. And yeah, this is, you know, I don't know what name that is written on the side there, but yeah, this was somebody's loved book. Del Rey Publishing. Man, this thing's seen some action. This thing's seen some action. Han Solo at Star's End, from the Adventures of Luke Skywalker, based on the characters and situations created by George Lucas. Amen to that. So like I was saying, I've never read this book. I know there's several novels outside of the original trilogy that were written from back in the day. There's a handful of them. I don't know that I'm going to get all of them. Again, full disclosure, I was after this because the Jedi one was one I needed and the Empire one was an upgrade. So, hey, it is what it is. I think I still need to get a first run of the A New Hope book, but episode 4, I need to get that book in the first version, the first print, the first run. I think mine is like a later copy, so I'd like to get the first publication style if possible. But yeah, like I said, this will be a fun read. I don't know anything about this story. Looks like Han and Chewie are going on some mission. What about you guys? Have you guys read this book? Do you know anything about it? Don't spoil it for me in the comments. Don't be that guy. But do you know anything about this book? Have you seen it? Do you have the other books? Like I said, there are other novels that were written in that vintage era, 77 to 80, probably 86, I'd say, even maybe 85, 86. There probably was, maybe my date's wrong on the back end, but there were books written because I've seen them, but I just don't remember. I know there's a slew of books. There's the children's books, the ones that are like super square and they're basically colored, just photos with or hand drawn with a couple sentences written on them. So I know those exist, and of course there are the storybooks, which you guys I'm pretty sure I covered those in a way earlier video, like way back in the day, beginning of the channel. I did a tour of one of my cabinets that had a lot of non-toy, well, it had some toys and some other stuff that wasn't toys. But I'm pretty sure I covered the storybooks in that little tour as I was unveiling everything that was inside that cabinet. So that was a fun little do. So like I said, there's storybooks, there's the little, basically the picture books for the kids. And then, of course, these are all for kids. I'm a big kid, and I'm still going to treat this like I was a little kid when I open this up and start reading them all again. These two, and then this for the first time. So yeah, guys, I'm just curious. Let me know what you guys think of all these. Like I said, these aren't toys. I don't have some hidden thing in another. I showed you the whole box. That's it. There's no toys, no action figures. But again, I wanted to show you guys some true vintage Star Wars stuff. This is part of the that era. And like I said, I'm not going to go after everything in that era, but the deal was too good. Had to do it. And, I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about the books? Do you read them? Do you have them? Do you collect them? Do you have the whole trilogy? Do you have all of these, extra books that were written? Do you remember reading them if you read them back in the day? I'm also curious to some people maybe just collect them and never even read them. I mean, there's that. And I do believe the novelizations, it's been a long time since I've taken a trip down this path. I do believe the novelizations vary a little bit on certain details versus what we actually saw in the films, which is also kind of cool. Maybe get a little bit more fleshed out detail in the books that we don't get in the 2-hour movie, which is why books are awesome. Most of the time, books are more detailed than our longer, cooler version of the movie. Any movie I've ever seen, the book is almost 100 times, 10 times out of 10, the book's usually better. Not always, but most of the time. So I will be looking for the contrast when I go through these two books again, and seeing what's different. But yeah, this is just like I said, just very cool. Just a nice little addition to the collection. There we go. 1980, May 1980, first edition. See, that's what I'm talking about, guys. The first edition, because they ran off a gajillion prints of these things. 1983, like I said earlier. Oh, this one's nice. First edition, June 83. Perfection. All right. So like I said, I got to get the original one, first edition. That's on my list just to round this out, this nice trilogy. And I'm going to be I'm babbling, guys. It happens. I even had one of my viewers say, I've had more than one viewer tell your videos are you're long. You talk a lot. I do talk a lot, guys. You get me talking about Star Wars and I'll talk your ear off. And maybe that's why some of you are, here are watching these videos. You love to hear me babble on about Star Wars and my love for Star Wars. It happens. It happens. I'm a babbler. I love talking about Star Wars, but as I was saying, these books potentially are going to sit on a shelf after I've read them, and I'm not going to do anything with them. There's a lot of things that I've decided over time that I'm not going to collect if I'm not going to have good use out of them. And I'm, like the toys, it's like a visual representation. I see it instantly. It's on a shelf. It's right there. Boom. It's, I see it daily. Stuff that I'm not going to look at daily, I'm not going to have any interaction with, I'm probably not going to collect it, and if I have it, I might get rid of it. And so these books are kind of like a one-off. It's something that is going to sit on a shelf, but I'm not necessarily going to see it, maybe in my collection, so to speak, but they're the movies. So like I said, I took a deep dive, not that deep, didn't cost me any real money, but and then this, like I said, this other book. So anyway, guys, that's my rant on the vintage novelizations, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think about these books. Do you remember them? It's some of you out there had to have had them. You had to have read them. You could probably talk my ear off about probably this one. I'm sure somebody out there has read this book and the whole set of them. So let me know. Drop me some comments. Love to hear your input on these books. Would you have bought these books, if you were me, or do you just stick to the toys? I want to ask you guys that right now. Do you guys only collect toys? Do you collect everything that's vintage? Some of you out there collect modern too, but I don't do modern, and that's not my bag. So excluding the modern, just solely on the vintage line, solely vintage only. Do you guys collect this stuff? Do you bother with it, or you just stick to the toys and like things that Kenner put out, license, etc.? So let me know, guys. Hope this was a nice trip down memory lane for some of y'all, going back in time, being a youngster and reading these books. I know it's a trip for me to see them, and especially to get them in such nice condition. I mean, these two are, like I said, cherry pie, baby, cherry pie. And this one, even though it's worn and torn and it's seen some love, that's my point. It's seen some love, which makes it all the more cooler. All right, you guys. reading time is about to start soon, so I'm going to cut this video. Well, guys, I'd love to hear from you. What did you think of these books? Let me know. I want to hear if you've had these books. Do you remember these books really well, or is this the first time you've actually seen them? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give the like button the old thumbs up to support the channel. And if you've not already done so, blast that subscribe button and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss any valuable Star Wars content. And remember, collect or collect not, there is no try.